This is absolutely Essendon bonus episode, I think. I think we can call it that. We're here to talk all things Zach Merrett, given that he's playing his 200th game this weekend against the Cats. Pressure game.
Yes. Well,
he's worthy of celebration.
I think game aside,
yes,
because we've talked a lot about that in a couple of our earlier videos. This one's all about Captain Fantastic. Zach on his 200th game against the Cats this weekend. And I think it's appropriate that we just stop and pause and reminisce about what an incredible career he's had and what an amazing footballer he has been. And,
yes.
And to be honest, how lucky we are to have him.
Yeah.
When you consider where he was drafted back in 2014, I think it was, 2013 National Draft.
Yeah.
He was taken at pick 26 in that draft. So plenty of clubs had a chance to grab him before we did.
Right.
And they chose not to.
Right.
And we are most definitely the beneficiary of their caution. So,
yes.
The draft, maybe before we get into his illustrious career, that draft, I mean, how could a player of his quality get 26?
Yeah, I don't know. But I know that there was, like, even at Essendon at the time, there wasn't consensus on whether to draft him or not.
Oh, really?
Right up until draft night. I was reading something on Twitter, and I've forgotten the person that posted this, so apologies. Not trying to. You
can't copyright.
Not Twitter. Not trying to take it, but it was a good story. I don't know where he sort of got this information, but apparently on the night, Dodoro was always keen on him, but as I said, there wasn't consensus at the club, and at the last minute, Bomber Thompson, I think, said to him, "Mate, go with your heart." Just do what you
that is risky with Dodoro.
Well,
I'm surprised he didn't pick
I think
6'10" beanpole.
Yeah, well, there were question marks over his height. I think that was the biggest concern, but he'd seen a couple of things in 2 or 3 games, the way he played, that he really liked, it really resonated with him, and I think that was in the back of his mind. So I think Dodoro says that on that night, if you go back and have a look at the replay of the draft, that Essendon were really taking their time with the decisions, and that was the reason why.
Selection 26, Essendon.
Player 214491, Zach Merrett, Sandringham and Cobden Football and Netball Club.
Selection 27, Gold Coast Stars.
It took them a while, but the Bombers are now on the board.
And he's got to 200 games in quick, smart time, which is just, I know you don't like
touch
saying
wood,
things.
Touch wood, no, I don't like saying it at all.
A testament to his durability.
I'm going to touch the sash.
His professionalism to be prepared. No, I mean, in this case, you don't need to touch anything because it is the player. He is constantly the ultimate professional, and you hear everyone talk about Zach Merrett. You know, his approach to his training, his fitness, his diet, every aspect of his preparation is absolutely professional. So I would imagine he will continue to play for many, many years for us.
Yes.
He's 27, I think, now.
He is. Now, you had Jackson Merrett, his brother.
Yeah, his
brother.
They were
playing together at one point. Was that around 2015?
Yeah,
16?
Jackson.
Was he older brother? A younger brother?
He was older.
Right.
Jackson the inferior, he was known as. I always thought that Jackson was drafted. And no, to be fair, he was a good footballer.
I thought so.
Not a superstar, but a good footballer.
Yeah.
But I was always of the opinion that they drafted Jackson in order to get to Zach.
Right.
So that sort of is in a little conflict. Or maybe not with the story you told. But,
I don't know.
But I think, there's no question that Zach became the better of those two.
Someone in our audience will know.
Yeah.
Someone will know, so please share with us.
Let's just have a quick look at his career. I mean, he's obviously playing his 200th game this week. He was nominated as a rising star in his debut season. I think it was in round 11 against Richmond.
Nice.
Someone can check that because I don't have that information in front of me.
Right.
But in that game, I know he had about 22 disposals, kicked a couple of goals, and interestingly, a handful of tackles. And I just want to talk about this for a second.
Right.
I'm quite sick and tired of hearing the media constantly referring to the fact that Zach Merrett never had a defensive part to his game. I have never understood that, because from watching him from day one, that's the one thing that stood out. His tackling is as good as any small player I've ever seen. And I think he averages over 5 tackles a game across his career. So defensively, he's always been pretty strong. He may not have been the best defensive runner, but no question about in tight, he's prepared to put his body on the line.
Hang on, aren't people referring to maybe the last 1 or 2 years under a different regime that we had, where there was just, there was a couple of examples, on Sunday football shows where they would just highlight him perhaps not applying defensive pressure.
Sure, and that was misinformed highlighting, because what they weren't showing was the 5 or 6 tackles that he laid. He's 5'10" or 177 centimetres.
Yes.
In the old language, the new language. So he's not a behemoth. He's not a Stringer or a De Goey sized guy. He's a little guy, and he tackles like a beast.
Yes, he does.
And I think he became the 3rd youngest player to ever captain Essendon during the year the 34 were banned on the supplement saga.
Right. Gosh, he would have been young.
He was, I can't. You do the maths, but he was the 3rd youngest.
Would have been 20 years old.
Something
not
like
even.
that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
2021, and it was towards the end of that year. He had, I think, you had BJ captaining the side that year.
Yes.
And he might have missed a game, and Merrett stood in for a game.
Right,
so
right.
Amazing achievement there. 3 times Crichton medalist. I think he's been an All-Australian twice. He's most certainly in line for another All-Australian, and probably Crichton this year.
Yes.
I mean, a decorated career for a guy playing for a club which has had a pretty disappointing last 10 years.
Yes, and probably disqualified Brownlow medalist. Unless the umpires tweak their voting.
You know what's happening there. They're not giving him more than 2 votes in any game. But interestingly, on the Brownlow medal count, in 2016, Zach Merrett polled 19 Brownlow votes, which is the 3rd most amount of votes for a side that had a season of 3 or less wins.
Oh, let me just grab a.
So
let me grab. Have we got a whiteboard?
If you
he was the carry the 4. Right. Okay. Now that is. I mean, look.
I think they got it.
Yeah,
you might struggle with it, okay. But and to cap all that off, he's now the club's 41st captain, and hasn't he just developed into an amazing? You can feel the impact he's having as the captain under Brad Scott's coaching.
Yeah,
he's incredible.
You've got to feel that he's warm to the coaching style. He's warm to the role. I mean, I have to admit, when I was announced, I just had a couple of niggles. I just thought, I don't know, is he a captain?
Right.
I'm not sure.
You're one of those, I'd say.
I'm one of those guys. But no,
Andy McGrath's best mate.
No, but I wasn't going that way necessarily. But he's blown me away. He really has.
He's blown a lot of people away.
Talk about lead by example.
Yeah.
He is the classic case of this. So, really, of all the new captains this year, has anyone done better than him, do you think?
Well, I can't tell you who the other new captains are, but
I can't either. But I'm fairly sure.
Right,
I would have heard about them.
Okay,
I haven't heard anything.
I'll take your word for that one.
Okay.
But for sure, in terms of his look, I'm going to go out and say it, and you can bookmark this. Come back anytime you like. Zach Merrett will be captain of the All-Australian team this year.
Oh, big statement.
He will be captain of the All-Australian side. And, what an incredible accolade that will be in the year he celebrates his 200th game for the club. He wasn't always the great leader. I think he was on the leadership group for a while, and then they demoted him.
Yeah, because there was talk. There was talk of some. I don't know. Or they alluded to some sort of disunity there or disconnect.
I don't
know what that was all about.
He had to learn his leadership style, and I think he's so demanding on himself. Right. That he expected that from everyone else. And I think he's learnt to be a little more forgiving to his teammates and let them develop in their own way.
Yeah.
But certainly setting the example himself. And he's really, adopted that strong leadership style, ever since then. So, look, I think it's a really good time for us to recognise our players and some of our superstars.
Yeah.
They've been few on the ground in the last 20 years, and
and
that certainly isn't the case when talking about Zach Merrett. So,
yeah.
I just want to say, Zach, we salute you. Have a great 200th, and please keep going and be with us for many years to come.
Oh, that'd be nice. It'd be nice to see. Another 200. If you want a great insight into his character, there was a game earlier this year. I don't know if it was round 2 or round 3 where he was mic'd up during the game.
Oh yeah,
and it was just a good insight into him because you don't see
when he had a
side
crack
of
at
that person.
Razor Ray.
Yeah, he goes Ray. He was talking at Ray pleadingly. That's never happened before.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, he's really made such a huge difference and put a stamp on this team. It's his team.
Yeah.
And he's been able to do that, even with the former skipper in the side, which sometimes can be a little bit confronting.
That's actually working well.
Yeah.
And that's a testament also to Dyson's character as well.
True.
He's happy to sort of play that sort of wingman
and I'm sure
role.
he supports Zach a lot. So
so
I'm very thrilled for him, and I hope the boys can get up for him on the weekend. And,
let's hope. Come on.
Give him a win to go with this great milestone.
It would be nice. He deserves it.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else for that?
We could talk for another hour.
I would love to.
We could go very long form. But
I think this is a nice sort of rounded summary of his career.
I think it will.
And any more would probably just be a bit too much. But we'll see.
Yes.
We might come back to this on the 300th.
Yes, and do a part 2.
Yeah.
3.
Good luck, Zach.
4. Okay. Yes, indeed. Good
Tear
luck,
him a
Zach.
new one.
Please do.
See you later.
Thanks again for watching.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.
See you.
Okay.
Ta-da.
Adios.